Hola a mis suscriptores españoles y bienvenidos al mundo de Big Mac Dance School. How you doing, guys? Big Mac Dance School here again today, back once again with another episode in my Warhammer 40,000 Conquest series for you. And if you're wondering what that intro was all about, basically, I've gained some Spanish subscribers recently. Well, I'm assuming they're Spanish, judging by the names. Maybe I'm being extremely racist here. So the reason is, I think, well, I know that in Spain, in the new year, Conquest is going to be rolled out over there, so I think they're probably tuning in for these videos. So I thought I'd do a nice little Spanish intro, using Google Translate, of course, because my Spanish, I got a B at GCSE in Spanish, but that was obviously when I was 16, and it's been years since I've used Spanish. So my Spanish is extremely basic. So without further ado, let's take a look at issue 16 of Warhammer 40,000 Conquest. First of all, what do we get free with this issue? I'll show you. We get one sprue of miniatures, which is mixed miniatures really. So this sprue can be found in two things. It can be found in, oh, we've got the flying stands attached there. This sprue can be found in two things, like I said. Firstly, it can be found in the Dark Imperium box set. It's one of the sprues you get in that. And secondly, it can be found in the No No Fear box set. It's one of the sprues you get in that. Now, the No No Fear box set is a £50 set, and the Dark Imperium box set is a £95 set. So to find the value in this sprue, they're the only places you can find it. To find the value in this sprue, you've really got to break down that set to work out. And you get 3 Imperial or Space Marine sprues and 3 Death Guard sprues in it. And the set, No No Fear, is £50. So split that in 2, and then you get £25. Divide that by 3, then you're getting £8 something for this sprue, really. So this isn't the highest value issue. It's got 2 Hellblasters on the sprue, 2 Intercessors, and an Inceptor. The Inceptors are the jump pack guys. So that means, you know, in the issue they'll be covering those things, which is good. It's teaching us more about the game and that. But overall, this is, I'd say, an underwhelming issue. It's hard to work out the value of the sprue really, but I'm saying £8 something, £8.33 or something, let's say. Just there, because I know some people like to have the value of the issue discussed a fair bit, and it's difficult to work it out, but let's say it's about £8.33. So you're saving about 34p when you buy this magazine. You can, of course, get things like No No Fear from a third-party retailer for probably about £40 at some of them. So you were actually probably paying more for this magazine than you would for No No Fear from a third-party retailer. Not, obviously, I mean, if you talk about the value of the sprues inside No No Fear altogether added up, or buying them separately in this magazine. Onto the magazine itself. Let's take a look, shall we? Ultramarines reinforcements, these guys here. These are the guys you can build from the sprue. So that's the Inceptor, they're the Hellblasters, and that's the Intercessor. The Hellblasters are the Plasma Marines for the Space Marines. And the Intercessors, we've already got 3 of them, so we can now make a squad of 5, which is a bonus. Onto the first page, it covers the Inceptors there. It talks about, again, normally, as it does, it says a title, battlefield role, which is close support, specialism, drop insertion, jump pack assault, line breakers, and weaponry, assault bolters or plasma exterminators. The ones that come in the set, you can only build the assault bolters with them. You could convert some plasma exterminators using the Hellblasters plasma guns, but then what would you arm the Hellblasters with? You could, I suppose, if you've got spare plasma guns lying around from Space Marine kits that you've had in the past, then you could use them on them. But, you know, you might as well just use them straight on the Inceptors, so that's just going around the houses, isn't it? Onto the next page, gives you a little bit of fluff here. Just talks mainly about Inceptors, and then there's another little bit touching on Inceptors here, telling you what different things are. The helmet with a Blast Visor, which, unfortunately, again, because these are sort of easy to build miniatures, you don't get the Blast Visor on these miniatures. There is a picture somewhere that I can show you. Here we go, with the Blast Visor down. So that is what the Blast Visor looks like. there. It's basically like a shield that comes down over the helmet, and there's just a vision slot there. So it would be cool if you could have built one of them with a blast visor. You could maybe try converting one up for yourself, but it's going to be tricky, especially if you are a newer hobbyist and you are who this magazine is targeted at. It could be tricky for you to do that conversion. And then onto the how to build section here. So this is going to be interesting, isn't it? Let's see the how to build section, because you've got 3 different little units to build here. So firstly, they cover the Intercessors. There's 2 miniatures that are Intercessors, so they've got 2 miniatures there. Nice, no waste of pages. We've got the Inceptors here, or the Inceptor, because you only get 1 Inceptor. You're going to have, you get 3 flying stands with this issue, but you're only going to use one of them. So do you want it to be the 55mm one, the 50mm one, or the 45mm one? It's your choice, really. We then cover the 2 Hellblasters that we get just here. Nice, doesn't take up much space. So it's 4 pages, which you do need, really. You need those 4 pages to cover the building, because they're all slightly different miniatures. You could, to a certain extent, work out how to build some of them based on the instructions of the others, probably, but not necessarily. And here's your completed built miniatures here. And then onto the painting guide. They cover this in quite a bit of detail, the painting, as they seem to like to do, despite the fact that we've painted Ultramarines now. Well, I've not personally, but the magazine's covered painting Ultramarines for, let's say, 7 at least of the 16 issues. Potentially more. So it covers it in a little bit of detail. It tells you where to paint the blue first all over them. Then it tells you where to paint the black on the Hellblasters. Oh, so it tells you all set. I've not even looked at this properly. I just skimmed over these pages. So it tells you the Intercessors first, paint the black there. Hellblasters, Inceptors, and then Lead Belcher. It tells you Intercessors, Hellblasters, Inceptors. And it gives you okay looking miniatures at the end of it. On a tabletop, again, it's just doing the same thing on the following pages. So it's the gold on the Intercessors, Hellblasters, Inceptors. Agrex's Shade, same order, but it's just slightly differently arranged. And the Null Noil there finally. And then it eventually gives you these okay looking miniatures. On a table full of miniatures, these would fit in quite nicely if you had a load of miniatures with this amount of paint on them. It's a 3 colour minimum, really, isn't it? Which is what is acceptable in a lot of tournaments. And then that's it. So that's so we've covered there nice and quickly the fluff or the lore, and then the how to build and the how to paint, and that's most of the magazine. And I'm just going to tear this apart now, because I'll be putting it in my binder afterwards. I don't actually have the binder that comes with the subscription, because I stopped my subscription. I've just gone out and bought a separate ring binder that was like £1.50. If you want to order a second ring binder for the subscription, I think you have to pay £6 extra. So you may want to just nip into WH Smith or a local stationer and grab your own. And you can even put like the poster that comes with the subscription over it to give it a sort of 40k feel. That's just a little money saving idea for you if you're a cheapskate like me. So then on to Secure the Fallen, which is the mission it gives us for this. And it says what you'll need there. Set up, Death Guard, take the Biologist Putrefier, 5 Plague Marines and 12 Poxwalkers. So that's quite a hefty Death Guard side we've got there now. And then the Space Marines take 5 Intercessors, which we've got 2 more in here. So with the 3 we've got, that's 5. Fantastic. An official squad size, 2 Hellblasters and an Inceptor. Now, interestingly, in a full game of 40k, you can't take 1 Inceptor and 2 Hellblasters. You've got to take at least 5 Hellblasters and at least 3 Inceptors. So obviously they're giving us scenarios specific to the number of miniatures we've got. So it's just teaching us new rules over the next couple of pages that the units have, as you will see. So it teaches us about flying units here. It gives a little bit more fluff here, as it always does. There's not really a lot for me to read in here, so you don't get a ready bit, or do you? I suppose I could read this transmission for you. Let's do that now, shall we?
Battle brothers, to arms! Traitors stalk the decks of our honoured vessel. We must secure the honour of Ultramar. Let nothing fall into the hands of the traitors. Should the enemy show his face, we shall bring unto him the Emperor's justice, and he shall burn in the fires of damnation.
So, back to the point, or back to the road I was going down. So flying units, it talks about flying units and how they ignore vertical distance when you're interacting with terrain, if you're moving over terrain or onto terrain. So you just move the horizontal distance. So the Inceptors can move 10 inches, and if that's on the flat, they move 10 inches. If they're going up 3 inches of the armor container, then it's still 10 inches, and they move the same distance. You just measure it horizontally. So that's fantastic. Nice, simple explanation there, a little simple picture diagram to show us. And again, it's the same if they're flying over the container. They don't count the up and down distance. They just count the horizontal distance. Fantastic. Two really simple picture examples there. And then on the next page, it tells us about if an Inceptor wants to charge the unit behind. So they can fly over an intervening squad, really similar to the two pictures previously shown to us, and it covers it nice and simply. Onto the data sheets we get on the next pages, the next page rather. So the Hellblaster squad is covered here. It tells us they've got Codex Discipline and they shall know no fear, and it gives us the weapons they can take. The Plasma Incinerator, you can fire it standard or supercharged. Supercharged just gives you 1 more strength, same AP, and it causes 2 damage instead of 1, but on a hit roll of 1, the bearer is slain after all of the weapons shots have been resolved. So it's a risk. Do you want to supercharge it, or do you want to not take the risk, play it safe? My advice is play it safe. And then the Inceptor squad, it gives us the rules for them as well. Codex Discipline, and they shall know no fear. Meteoric Descent. So during deployment, you can set up this unit in high orbit instead of placing it on the battlefield. At the end of your movement phase, this unit can use a Meteoric Descent. Set it up anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches away from any enemy models. So that's I think that's the first time we've come across a sort of what used to be known as a deep strike rule. So in previous editions, there was a general rule called deep strike that certain units had, and they were held off the battlefield until the controlling player wanted to deploy them, or they had to roll a dice to see if they got deployed or not. So it's our first introduction, I think, in this magazine of that rule. So it's, again, adding another little rule in there, teaching us bit by bit the more advanced rules of the game. And now that's not massively advanced, but it's you've got to get, before you can get to the ultimate, most tactical game, you've got to learn it all bit by bit. So in my opinion, that's a fantastic way to teach us. And then crushing charge as well. Roll a d6 each time a model from this unit finishes a charge within 1 inch of an enemy unit. On a 6, the enemy unit suffers a mortal wound. So that's a really good way for you to take models out of your enemy units. If you charge with the Inceptors on a roll of a 6, on a roll of a d6 of a 6, then the unit suffers a mortal wound. However, with only 1 Inceptor, it's very unlikely you're going to roll a 6. There's only a 1 in 6 chance of rolling a 6. So it's unlikely you're going to be rolling a 6 too often. So I wouldn't rely on that if I was you to try and kill your opponent. And then onto the last page, which is it's just the back of the data sheets there, and the advert to say subscribe. Now, this issue, the quality of the magazine is disappointing. I'd say disappointing, yeah. It's always going to be tricky when you've got 3 different units, models for 3 different units in the issue. So because they can't split that sprue up and send you a complete squad of Intercessors, a complete squad of Hellblasters, a complete squad of Inceptors, because they can't send them all separately, it becomes packed out with how to paint and how to build section. They take up a lot of pages. There's 4 pages of lore at the start, which mostly are pictures. You get all that, and then you get a little bit of information down here. You get this big picture here, this graphic here, bit of lore there, just basically a diagram there, which is just a picture with a couple of words on. And then it touches on a few different aspects that have been covered on the previous page as well there in a bit more detail. And then it's onto the how to build, which is 4 pages, and then the how to paint, which ended up being 6 pages, I think. So because they can't split up that sprue, it means they have to spread out the how to build and how to paint section, which is tricky. And we know we're going to get, I think, 2 more issues like that for the Space Marines and 3 issues like that for the Death Guard. So it's quite a disappointing issue in terms of the content of the magazine. And when you look at the value, if you do go off my valuation of £8.33, then it's not that great a value issue either. So it's interesting. There's always going to be issues like this because we know they have to get all the miniatures that we've seen on the big picture. You can see it on the Conquest website if you go to it, if you've not seen it already. Go to, I think, Warhammer40000conquest.com. I may be wrong about that, but I think that's it. And there is a big picture showing us all the miniatures we get. The terrain's all in brown plastic. We've got the blue Ultramarines and the green Death Guard. And it tells us everything we're going to get throughout the course of the subscription, or just going into the shops and buying it like I do. So we know there's going to be certain lower value issues, but because of the way they've had to do the how to paint and the how to build, it's just unfortunate that there's nothing that brings me round to think it's a good issue, really. Other than, obviously, I suppose there is the drip feeding us the rules again, and they're teaching us more bit by bit. So that is good, but not my favourite issue this so far, let me just say that. So let's talk about what's coming up in future issues. Bam, bam, bam. We've got in issue 17, another armoured container. I covered that in last week's episode. And then in issue 18, we're getting 2 paints. What's the value of 2 paints? £5.10? How much is this magazine? £7.99. Oh, that's going to be a really low value issue. However, it does say on the front cover here, we're getting a new playmat. And having spoken to one of my subscribers today, they've already got this issue. They've been sent it in their subscription. They had some big problems with Hatchet, so Hatchet have decided to get them right up to date with everything, and they have basically sent him up to issue 18, and he's got that issue, and he says it's a really nice playmat. To be fair, it's bigger than the one we've got that features a cargo deck already. It's sort of a Sector Imperialis playmat. And if you put it under a sheet and iron it, you can get out all the creases and everything, hopefully, and it'll be quite nice for you. It's about A1 size, he said. If you're not sure what A1 size is, if you're a viewer in America, I think you measure paper differently over there, don't you? If you're not sure what it is, just Google it, A1 size measurements. If you're anyone, they probably don't use A sizes in Spain either, do they? So, yeah, that's all I've got for you. We're talking £5.10 valuation on issue 18, probably. But in issues after that, it gets quite exciting. I'm not going to go into detail here. We'll wait to issue 17 to tell you what's in issue 19. And then we'll wait to issue 18 to tell you what's in issue 20. I want to keep you on tenterhooks. Anyway, that's all I've got for you for now, guys. Any Spanish viewers, if you want to correct my Spanish at the start of the video, please do, because like I said, I've not spoken Spanish since school. Pop it in the comments below what I should have actually said. What I was trying to say was, what was I trying to say? Hello to my Spanish subscribers and welcome to the world of Big Mac Dance School. But if I butchered it, just let me know in the comments below and tell me the correct way to say that. I was going to try and do my normal intro. How are you doing, guys? Big Mac Dance School here again today, back once again with another episode of Warhammer 40k, or whatever this is. It's a Conquest show, not a 40k show. But I thought that might be a bit trickier than just saying welcome to the world of the Big Mac, because I know how to say world and stuff like that. So there we go. Anyway, if it disappointed you, I'm sorry. That's all I've got for now, guys. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the battlefield.